Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenidos aquí a Pep Boxing, aquí con Jimmy James. Tenemos a nada menos que a este gran prospecto y buen boxeador, Steven Nelson, un boxeador muy bueno, un boxeador que tiene mucha técnica y que está invicto ahora mismo, que, que es uno de los mejores super medianos del momento. Y pues aquí lo tenemos. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it here for all the Latino fans that we have here. And how are you? How's
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Just sitting around, recovering. I had a little injury a couple months ago, but just been resting and doing physical therapy. But I'll be back soon.
Ok, dice que tuvo una terapia personal, está un poco dolido, pero se está recuperando poco a poco. Am, Hay muchos boxeadores que están invictos y en su división. ¿Cuál crees que es el más peligroso ahora mismo? Nelson, there's a lot of undefeated fighters right now in your division, but which one do you think consider the most dangerous ones in your division?
Of course, Canelo. He's unifying the the weight class, and I'm good friends with Caleb Plant, but
Ujú.
he's a good fighter that I respect, and even though Billy Joe Saunders he just lost, there's still guys out there. Of course, Edgar Berlanga.
Ujú.
I feel like I want that fight like soon, because a lot of people hype that fight up and talk about it a lot. So what I mean, I want to get the fans what they want to see.
Ok. Dice que es amigo de Caleb Plant, también dice que le gustaría una pelea con Canelo Álvarez, obviamente, y pues la pelea que quiere es con Edgar Berlanga, una pelea que sea buena. Tú has llamado a Edgar Berlanga unas cuantas veces, no te ha respondido. I know you called Edgar Berlanga to fight with him. I've seen that comment before. Has he ever responded to you at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he'll chat back and forth and say his little slick words and stuff, but he never really threw a fight offer at me or anything like that. I know my team for a fact. Before I got injured, they threw a fight offer. It was denied. I don't know if it was denied by him or just his management was like, no, it's not time for that fight. But yeah, we definitely sent a fight offer to him.
Ok, dice que lo mandó una oferta a Edgar Berlanga, pero que él nunca respondió a la oferta antes de que estuviese lesionado. Entonces, eso dice mucho de Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga es un boxeador que mucha gente está diciendo que es bueno, pero tú lo ves, o sea, como tan bueno. A lot of people are kind of hyping up Berlanga, saying that he's really good and whatever. But do you think he is really that good? Compared with other boxers, let's say like David Benavidez or maybe David Morrell Jr.
No, I don't. I think he's overhyped, and he has potential to be great. I feel like. I mean, of course, I'm not going to take that away from him, but at this point right now, he don't have enough experience in the ring, and I have amateur background with him. I know him from the amateurs and stuff, and he never was like a guy you but oh, this guy is going to be great, But he's doing what he's supposed to, going into these fights and you know giving 100% in the first round, and he's it's like selling candy to a kid. You know what I mean? You show them what they want to see.
Ujú,
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's not the best for him. You know what I mean?
ujú.
So that's what I feel like. I feel like we all could have done that. I could have went in with all my opponents and gave it 100% in my first round and knocked them all out. But it don't give you any ring experience, and you don't learn anything from that. You just get a name that goes, oh, he's knocking everybody out. But
Right.
getting there with a guy like me, it's not gonna work.
Claro. Lo que él está diciendo es simplemente que Edgar Berlanga lo ve como un boxeador, como que la gente habla mucho de él, pero no es la gran cosa. También piensa que lo puede ganar y no lo ve tan peligroso como David Benavidez, Dave Morrell Jr. Y dicho que en su experiencia amateur nadie lo vio como alguien especial a Edgar Berlanga, algo que me parece bastante curioso. There's a lot of a lot of people who don't know your style of boxing. How would you categorize your style of boxing? ¿Cómo categorizas tu estilo de boxeo?
Um, I mean, just like the reason why I got my name is so cold because I'm good at anything I put my mind to. So I'm the same way in the ring. You know, like I adjust to where my opponent is coming with. You know, like sometimes people are like, oh, he's strong. He's a strong fighter. Oh, he's a slick boxer. Oh, you know, he can go back and forth. So it just depends on what the person brings to the ring. And honestly, people in the professional ranks haven't seen what I can do because I'm the type of preservative type person where I bring out the tool that's needed. If the
Okay.
job requires a screwdriver and a hammer, that's all I'm bringing. I ain't got to
Ujú,
bring the drill out and everything else that I have in my toolbox.
ujú.
You know,
Di-
so yeah, I'm very diverse.
Ok, dice que es un boxeador que tiene mucha técnica, muy diverso, que él simplemente trae lo que tiene que traer en la pelea, pero que tiene mucho más que demostrar y pone el ejemplo de tener un martillo y tener metido un clavo. Si es lo que necesito, pues eso es lo que voy a hacer, pero no voy a hacer más, pero tengo mucho más repertorio que eso. As far as right now your division is concerned, which would be the most accessible fight for you right now? ¿Cuál sería la pelea más accesible para ti?
The most successful fight is of course Edgar because he signed to Top Rank as well.
Ujú,
But there's other guys, you know, that's worked with Top Rank, um, and we've sent contracts to them because my fight I was supposed to fight April 24th,
ujú,
and I told him I want to fight in the top 10. I want to fight the
ujú.
top 10 guys because I want to put myself in place of a title.
Ujú,
And about 3 or 4 contracts were sent in, they were denied. Um, so all it's about now is just the management picking the right fights for me.
ujú. Ok, eso está buscando peleas por lo menos en el top 10 y está buscando que los managers le den la mejor pelea ahora mismo, que es lo que se trata el boxeo. A lot of people are criticizing boxers because the best are not actually fighting the best, and this happens to happen in elite a lot. And it's a big consensus where people think that boxing is just not what it was, for example, in the 90s and things like that. La gente piensa que el boxeo ya no es lo que era antes, los 90 se enfrentan con los mejores. What's your take on that?
Yes, I agree. Like it angers me to see, like I call it the Mayweather era where people are, babying their and they're making it more into a business where that's not the boxer's job anymore, and people are waiting for smoke to clear to take fights. When it's a sport, people forget that we are here to entertain. So
Ujú,
if the fans want to see a fight, they shouldn't have to wait 3, 4, 5 years to see a fight.
ujú,
Or even in post-fight interviews when fighters you being, I want to focus on my family and stuff. Nobody wants to hear that. People want to hear you call out other champions and other fighters. And I feel like the new era is coming in. They're making slight changes, like Teofimo Lopez. Like I really appreciate what he's doing. Like he like, man, I want to fight. He had 14 fights and he going for Shakur Stevenson. People who just not ducking no work. They want to go fight champions.
ujú. Ok, dice que tiene apreciación con los mejores contra los mejores, dice que él está de acuerdo, dice que estamos en la era de Floyd Mayweather Jr. y que la gente le da igual lo que le pasa al boxeador, las excusas para inflar sus récords, simplemente quiere que las peleas se hacen y tiene admiración por Teofimo López, que en 14 peleas obviamente ha hecho las peleas que ha hecho. Uh, on that note, hay muchas personas que critican a Canelo Álvarez. There's a lot of people who criticize Canelo Álvarez. We're one of the pages that does, because it seems like he avoids fighting American boxers, especially undefeated ones. What is your take on that situation? And do you think, because it seems like that's happening in other divisions too, where the American boxer is being avoided? What do you think about that?
Um, well, it's two things that I look at it. So when I look at it, I look at, okay, maybe it's a good plan that he's trying to fight these other fighters from different countries because they're bringing more to the table. But as a fan, you want to see them fight these other top opponents. Like, why did Canelo skip unifying 160 and go unify 168? And I personally felt like he chose 168 because the champions at the time, compared to the champions at 60, was the easier route for him.
Okay.
Inside.
So, okay, go ahead. Anything
So
else?
I feel like where I would decide what type of fighter Canelo is after his run at 168. And if he still avoids those fighters, that's when I'll start to, you know, put a side eye on Canelo. Like, dude, like you ducking, like you clearly ducking, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I understand his plan where he won the unified 168. That's his goal. Okay, do that. But I want to see what you do after that now.
Okay.
If he if
Dice
he
que,
if he accomplished that. If he do
okay,
accomplish that.
okay. So está diciendo que 160 pues no unificó, obviamente con nadie, podía haber sido indisputado en esa división, subió a 168 y ahora mismo está intentando hacer eso, pero dice que si empieza a hacer eso en 168 entonces va a tener que pensar que está evitando a boxadores. On that note, when you said 160, it comes to mind obviously the word Demetrius Andrade. What are your comments on Canelo Alvarez calling him a very, he said he was a very bad fighter. That's what he said about Demetrius Ronda. He said he wasn't
Yeah.
really that good.
And that's the part that I don't understand. He has a belt. No matter how you think about him fight, like Andre said, you fight what was the guy he fought? You fight this guy, but you talking about that I'm not good enough for you to fight?
Yeah,
Or
after
who have you fought?
Gildrum.
Yeah, you fight Udrum, but you say he's a bad fighter. Like what? And the same thing with Charlo. He avoid fighting Charlo. Like, dude, like these are clear champions. They're good champions. Like make the fight happen. Why did you skip those and go to 168?
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I
Okay.
can see if he was at 160, trying to use fight 160, and they are at 168, call him out. But you skipped the whole weight class to unify one above. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, don't make sense.
Yeah. Sí, obviamente dice que los evitó, dice que no quiso, que eso no tiene excusa, se quería enfrentar contra el Gildrum, pero no se quería enfrentar contra Andrade, eso no tiene nada de sentido, y que a lo mejor eso tiene sentido para la gente, pero para él no tiene ningún sentido. Who's your top fighters right now? If you had to give three top fighters right now, how would you rank your top three fighters right now in the sport?
Of course, and this is unbiasedly speaking. Like, I my number one pick is Terrence Bud Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I grew up with him and I trained with him and everything, like just everything about him, his competitiveness, the way he can switch in the ring, and the times that he has been, like hurt or boxers have came to him, he come back harder and finish the fight strong. So I really respect that. And I love what, like I said, Teofimo Lopez is doing, but I will put skill wise, I will put Shakur before him.
Okay.
Shakur is young and everything. I love his style and the way he move in the ring and his reaction timing and everything. And Teofimo, and even though Canelo's in my weight class, like I've always liked Canelo's style, but I've
Mm-hmm.
always seen, like, even now I'm like, dude, like I got what it takes to beat him. If the fight
Mm-hmm.
ever came up.
Okay.
Um,
So that will be your top three.
yeah,
Uh,
top four.
Top four. Okay. So Shakur Stevenson over Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, it would
Okay.
Bud Shakur, Teofimo, and then if I had if it'd be a fourth one, it'd be Canelo.
Ok, pues lo habéis escuchado. Tiene a Terence Crawford número 1, luego tiene a Shakur Stevenson número 2, luego tiene número 3 a Teofimo López y a cuarto a Canelo Álvarez. And as far as what's your historical best fighter? Which is the fighter that you think that you like growing up, the fighter that you like the most? ¿Qué es el boxeador que te gustaba más?
It's funny because people don't know this, but before I started boxing late. I started boxing at age 21,
Ujú,
and before that, I didn't watch boxing. I didn't watch sports because I've always been an outdoor active kid where
ujú,
my attention span wasn't enough to sit down and watch somebody else, do a sport. Football,
ujú.
basketball, no sport. I couldn't sit down and watch it long enough. I glimpsed at it a little bit, but when I started boxing and started going back, you know, freaking Sugar Ray. I
Okay.
love his style. Pernell Whitaker, I love his style. You know, James Toney, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
his style of defense and his way he react off of it. And of course, Floyd Mayweather, I love the way he
Ujú,
did everything in his defense.
ujú. Entonces, lo habéis escuchado, los boxeadores que le gustan, Sugar Ray, tienes a Floyd Mayweather Jr. también, y tienes a otros boxeadores también que le han gustado mucho, creciendo. Y empezó a boxear a los 21 años. That's amazing that you started boxing at 21 years old. Not a lot of people can start boxing at 21 years old and become professionals and still be undefeated. No mucha gente puede hacer eso.
Man,
How did you do that?
I was in the military and I just went to a local boxing gym just to stay in shape. I didn't plan on I want to compete or nothing like that. And when I first started, like I told you earlier, I catch on to things fast and I like perfect them like that. So the
Ujú.
first week I'm in the training, the coach stopped me and was like, "Man, how long you been boxing?" I'm like, "A week." He was like, "No, not how long you been back. How long you boxed like before this?" I'm like, "It's my first week." He was like,
Okay.
"Oh man, you're a natural. I can see it." So I just stuck with it. And this is 2010. I went to the Olympic trials in 2012 with 6 fights under my belt.
Wow.
And I got all the way to the finals. I beat everybody, beat national champs and stuff, and got to the finals. Nobody know who I am. Got to the finals, and I had a fight against Marcus Brown. Of course, he was a favorite.
Ujú.
And, people to this day can argue, man, you won that fight. You won
Okay.
that fight, man. They took so many points from me. He was falling down. They was calling him slips. It was all kind of crazy stuff. It was just like, but I
Okay.
was happy though. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy because I only had 6 fights, and I go with a silver medal, and then I get a ticket to London to be a alternate training partner. So I was
Ajá.
happy. I was
Ajá.
happy just now starting. So I
Wow.
caught on. I caught on fast, and then when I came back from London, and I came back and I was the number one guy. I won all the national tournaments and stuff. I won every national tournament they have in the USA.
Ujú.
Um, so that's where it started off.
Ok. Wow. Solo empezó con 21, lo vieron que era un natural buscando el boxeo, dijo, contenía 3 peleas, dijo, wow, este tío es muy bueno, él es natural, se fue, ganó 6 peleas y de repente estaba en nacionales en Estados Unidos, ganó a todos los nacionales y tuvo una pelea con Marcus Brown. En esa pelea con Marcus Brown, mucha gente pensó que perdió, otras personas pensó que ganó, pero él pensó que hizo muy bien y luego fue a Inglaterra para ganar y había ganado todo. O sea, that's a pretty brilliant career for considering you started at 21. That's actually pretty good. Eso está bastante bien.
Yeah.
En la pelea que va a pasar ahora mismo entre que vamos a ver entre Manny Pacquiao y Errol Spence Jr., ¿quién crees que va a ganar esa pelea? Who do you think is going to win that fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao coming up?
Man, I haven't seen Manny Pacquiao in some years, but if he show up like he showed up against Keith Thurman,
Uh-huh.
I have him winning. I have
Okay.
him against Errol Spence. I have winning because Errol Spence he's stationary. He has to have his feet set to punch, and he's not a quick counter puncher. Which
Right.
that's the only. I feel like somebody like Manny Pacquiao, you got to be a quick counter puncher or be first, and he's
Mm-hmm.
not that type of fighter. I feel like Pacquiao gonna hit them angles, but it's one of those fights where it just it's not who's the best. It's who shows up to the fight with a certain game plan and they execute it.
Okay. So, él está diciendo que ve a Manny Pacquiao, si pelea como contra Keith Thurman, puede ganarle a Errol Spence Jr. Y porque Errol Spence Jr. se estaciona mucho y Manny Pacquiao se mueve mucho y puede ganar. Talking about that, la situación con Terence Crawford. It seems like nobody wants to dance with Terence Crawford in that division, and it seems like they kind of isolated. All the PBC fighters don't want to fight him, but a lot of people are criticizing Crawford, saying that he's not taking the best fights. But as far as I know, they don't want to sign a contract to fight him, and it seems like
Exactly.
that's the case. What do you think about that?
Exactly. And it's been like that since the day he got to 147. He told me face to face, I want to unify 147. And I don't want to take no touch up fights. I want to go straight for the belts. So he goes straight to the guys. I want to fight y'all and everything, and they all like, who have you fought? You ain't fought nobody at 147. Get a fight at 147. But luckily, Pacquiao lost to
Thurman.
to
No.
he lost to Jeff Horn.
Oh yeah.
Jeff
Yeah.
Horn had Top Rank had control of Jeff Horn at that time. He had a 2-fight deal. Terrence beat him. He got a belt. He go back to him. Hey, I got a belt. What's up? You want to fight? Now they talking about no, clear your side of the street, and then I clear my side of the street. Right then and there, we knew that they was going to try to shut him out and make a super champ within PBC. So Bud is trying to get the best fight, but like everybody's at PBC, who he's going to fight?
Right. Quiere las mejores
And then once these
peleas.
guys they lose, yeah. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
But then once these guys fight in PBC and they lose the belt to Pacquiao or Errol Spence, then they want to come back and say, all right, I'll fight you now, Bud. But Bud, like, man, I don't want to, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on unifying the title. I want the belt holders. And you kind of give him the leftovers and everybody, oh, he's ducking Sean Porter. But no, he's in the way. I don't want to fight Sean Porter. I want to fight Sean Porter when he had a belt, but now he got a belt. I want the people who got the belt.
Right.
So at the same time, now they talking about Bud ain't fought nobody. He don't deserve a split purse, and his resume sucks and stuff. But like, how can he build a resume when these guys don't want to fight him when it's best needed for them to fight? They fight them after their leftovers.
Yeah, makes sense. So, lo que está diciendo él es simplemente nadie quiere pelear contra él. Cuando él tenía cinturones, cuando ellos tenían cinturones, Bar Crawford les llamó para pelear, ellos no querían. Ahora que no tienen cinturones, quieren la pelea con Crawford, pero Crawford dice, no, yo quiero unificar todas las peleas, yo quiero pelearme contra los mejores, y no quieren, y los campeones no quieren. And in that note also, it seems like Errol Spence Jr., he was calling out Keith Thurman, calling him runtime, and it seems like Keith Thurman was avoiding not Terrence Crawford, but Errol Spence Jr. But then when Crawford came, it seems like Errol Spence Jr. wasn't too. He was kind of scared of Terrence Crawford. Do you think that Errol Spence Jr. is scared of Terrence Crawford?
I think as a fighter, I honestly, I'm not gonna say he's scared of Terrence Crawford. I feel like he's advised by Al Heyman, and he knows like this is a major risk. And if he lose, PBC can lose every title they have within that circle, and it's that's a lot of money. That's their cash cow. So I feel like it's just a smart business move on their behalf and everything. But it's the way they're doing it and going about it. It's like, man, come on, how long can you do this? How many excuses can you make every time Terrence Crawford is answering the excuses, and then it's more and more excuses. So now it's a pride thing. Now it's like they're trying to, lower him and say, okay, you deserve a 60, 40, 70, 30 now, because this whole time they're playing around and blocking them out. And it's like without an Errol Spence, without a Bud, there is no Errol Spence and Bud fight. It's a 50-50 fight. This is a historical fight that everybody want to see. And half and half thinking Bud win, half a think Errol Spencer win. It's like it's an even fight. Never mind the pay-per-view numbers and what they've done and how many guys he fought with titles and at 147 and everything like that. No, let's talk about what people want to see. It's a 50-50 fight. People want to see it. Bam, split down the middle.
Es una pelea 50-50, como está diciendo él, los mejores contra los mejores, y honestamente dice que Errol Spence Jr. no quiere la pelea, simplemente si quisiese la pelea lo haría, está ofreciendo dinero 40-30, pero simplemente parece que no quiere la pelea y por eso no está unificando. In that sense also seems like Errol Spence Jr. is offering Crawford money that seems like it's beyond reasonable to negotiate with. So
that's
what do you?
That's a purposeful tactic. It's like you overbid yourself on purpose because you know that you're not going to take it. Like y'all both are American fighters. Y'all have the same crowd. What is this? Oh, I'm a bigger draw and all that. It's like, dude, it's nonsense. And it's like Bud is a 3-division champion. Errol Spence been at 147. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, let's put the numbers up. Let's put it all together. And they're trying to compare pay-per-view numbers with Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia or Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan. Of course,
Yeah.
you're going to outnumber that. You can't use those numbers because
Right.
it'd be the same or even more if Terrence fought Porter. It'd be the same numbers
Right.
that you drew.
Right. Sí, dice que es pagos por evento, no tiene sentido y que honestamente se tienen que enfrentar. La gente quiere ver esa pelea, queremos verlo todos. We want to see that fight also ourselves too. But unfortunately, it seems like we might not see that fight. A lo mejor no vemos esa pelea, desgraciadamente, si sigue así. And as far as you, when do you think you'll have your next fight? ¿Cuándo vas a tener tu la próxima pelea?
Whether I heal up by the end of this year or not, I want to get back to it next year. You know, I'm just taking rest of this year off and let my body heal and recover completely before I jump back in the ring. So I'm thinking like February, March of 2022.
Sí, dice que a lo mejor para el 2022 es cuando va a pelear porque se tiene que recuperar. And what exactly was your injury?
I had a complete tear of my Achilles tendon.
Oh, el talón de Aquiles se le rompió. Okay.
So I had
Okay. And
surgery. I had the surgery and everything. And they say to get back to doing what I usually do is usually a 10 to 12 month healing process.
Okay. So 10 a 12 meses de proceso para que se recupere. And where can your fans follow you? Because now, little by little, you're going to get more Latino fans. Where can your fans follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Steven Nelson Boxing. And on Facebook, I have Steven So Cold Nelson. And Twitter is So Cold Nelson. And, you know, like I said, I do a lot of things, you know, comedy, you know, I do carpentry. I'm an artist, you know, boxing. So I feel like fans can come and enjoy my page if they into so many different things.
Ok, dice que tiene muchas cosas que hace y le podéis seguir en Facebook, ¿no? Que es Steven So-Called Nelson, también So-Called Nelson también en Instagram, ¿no? ¿Es correct?
Steven Nelson Boxing on Instagram.
Steven Nelson Boxing en Instagram, también le podéis mirar ahí también. Y también hace cosas fuera del boxeo. Pues you don't sell any merchandise with, you know, Nelson or anything? I always ask this to boxers. Maybe you sell anything?
I'm actually working on some new merchandise. I got some big merchandise coming, not just shirts and hats and stuff. So people got to stay tuned. My next thing is I'm doing my first stand-up comedy show in 2 weeks. So I'll have that for people to enjoy, you know, that portion of me out there in the world. But merchandise is coming. I feel like fall. This fall I have some dope merchandise for people to grab up.
So va a tener mercancía también que va a vender y va a tener una cosa de comedia que va a hacer él de 2 semanas. And we wish you good luck with that comedy thing. So, you know, hopefully that, yeah, good, congratulations. Well, muchas gracias a todo el mundo. Anything else you want to say to your fans?
I just appreciate everybody who's tuning in and they want to follow me. Don't look up later on, be like, man, I remember that guy. I should have followed him. Though. Like, man, jump up now, man, because you know I got a lot of things coming. Even outside of boxing, got a lot of things coming. So,
So, seguirle, dice muchas gracias a todos los fans que habéis visto y os damos gracias a vosotros también por seguir nuestro canal en Golden Era y seguir y suscribiros a la mejor del mundo en español aquí en Facebook también y seguimos adelante con Mark Boxeo y os deseamos todos hasta luego. Muy buena suerte y adiós.
Hey.